All right, today I'm going to talk about the Biggest Loser docuseries on Netflix called Fit for TV. So I binged all 3 episodes one afternoon a couple weeks ago, and it was a huge eye-opener to me. While I did watch the show while it was on air, I didn't watch every single episode of every single season. So it was actually a really good refresher for me because I don't recall watching any of the later seasons. But it was a big eye opener for me. So today I'm going to talk about, the initial intention behind the show, which was actually pretty positive. The negatives about the show, there are a lot. And then I'll wrap up with the positives of the show because it wasn't all bad. It was kind of, in my opinion, not the best for the most part, but, overall. But there were some positives that came out of it, so I'll dive into those as well. I'm Melissa King, board certified health and wellness coach, ACE certified personal trainer, and Girls Gone Strong women's coach. All right, let's dive into the genuine intention behind the show. So basically, one of the producers was finished with his workout at the gym and he saw a flyer from someone at the gym, a gym member, asking for help with weight loss. So he thought, wow, this might make a great TV reality show, which obviously it did, entertainment wise. And he thought, why not help people lose weight and get healthier? So the intention behind it was actually pretty positive. What it turned into was not the most positive for most of the contestants. So the first thing that I was not really a big fan of was the cash prize. So there was a huge cash prize at the end. I think it was $250,000, but don't quote me on that. And there were little challenges within this season that I'll get into. I'll get into one of them in a few minutes. But that, to me, the money aspect, some people are really motivated by money, but if you're really in it to actually become healthier and to prevent chronic disease or to reverse chronic disease like diabetes, your why has to be more than the money. The money is not going to motivate you to choose whole foods over processed foods. I guarantee you. So that was my biggest pet peeve with the show. The other thing was the temptation challenges. So each season, I can't recall how many times during the season they had these types of episodes, but each season they would have temptation challenges, and I'm going to share 2 of them. So the one that they talked about on the docuseries, and I can't recall which season it is, was they basically put everyone, all the contestants, one by one on an individual basis, walked into this room with basically a buffet of table of cookies, pastries, cupcakes, cakes, breads, all these ultra processed foods, and said, eat as much as you want. In fact, you know what? Why don't you eat a lot of it? And to me, that was like, okay, what's the purpose behind that? And it came to be that the purpose behind that was they wanted to put these contestants in real life, and real life is in quotes, and I'll share why in a sec, real life situations, because they were on the Biggest Loser ranch not doing anything else. Like, this was their life while they were on the show. And the problem with this is, how often are you going to walk into a room that basically has an all-you-can-eat buffet of pastries, breads, and junk food for free? Most likely never. Never are you going to have that temptation. Yes, There are temptations at the grocery store. We're coming up on the holiday season. There's going to be tons of temptation at holiday parties, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve. And we have them every day, like I already said, at the grocery store. But for the most part, we have to pay for these, and there is a limited supply. So when you go to a party, there's not 5 different cakes that you could basically have all to yourself. That's not realistic. So that one, I didn't quite get how it was a real life temptation. The other one, I watched part of the episode on YouTube. They closed the kitchen at the ranch for a day, and they had the contestants eat their breakfast, lunch, and dinner in this room, which basically had an all-you-can-eat buffet of food. One side of the room had, baked goods, cupcakes, cakes, donuts for breakfast, all like the really crappy junk food. The other side had healthier whole foods, okay? And so the challenge was to go in, eat your meal, and the person who ate the most calories by the end of the day got to vote someone off the show. Really? Oh my gosh. Seriously? You are encouraging these people to consume literally thousands of calories, mostly junk food, just so they could vote someone off the show. And I know, I get it, it's reality TV. But to me, that was okay, this is crossing a line to me. So, again, the temptation challenge was not realistic at all. Okay, the next thing that really irked me about the show was they were exercising way too much and not eating enough calories, okay? So they were exercising for 90 minutes in the morning and in the afternoon. Sometimes they'd have 6-7 hours of exercise. Now, I'm all for movement throughout the day. I think that is amazing and it's so great. And our bodies actually want to move throughout the day. It's the intensity of it, okay? I'm an avid hiker, just got back into backpacking, and I loved moving my body throughout the day. There were days when there were lots and lots of uphills, lots of incline on the trail in this last backpacking trip we did, but that wasn't every day. It was most days, but it wasn't every day. The last day was an easy, for the most part, chill hike off the trail. That I love. I'm a big proponent, but the intensity of this, and these people came on the show overweight, obese, their metabolisms were probably already damaged. They probably had chronic diseases and they weren't moving their bodies, so their bodies weren't used to it. You have to ease into it. You can't just start and go super hard. Your body will literally shut down, and that's exactly what happened to one contestant. So go watch the Fit for TV docuseries on Netflix and to learn more about Tracy's story. And they were also only eating about 800 calories a day, one of the contestants said, and I think the max they were able to eat was 1,800. That's not a lot, especially when you're exercising that much, okay? Yes, when you are on a weight loss journey, do you want a calorie deficit? Yes, you do, but not that dramatic. It has to coincide and align with your activity level. All right, so the other thing that I did not agree with on The Biggest Loser is that the trainers and the doctors did not collaborate, even though the main doctor on the show, he wanted to collaborate with the trainers, but the trainers didn't want to be told how to coach their clients. Okay, now I get the idea of, as a personal trainer myself and health coach, I don't want to be told how to work with my clients. Okay? But here's the thing is if a doctor is prescribing like you need to rest more or you need to eat more calories, then you should probably pay attention to that doctor. And also, not only that, but allow the client to have the most autonomy. So how I work with my clients, I coach them on habit creation. So I teach them how to create sustainable, healthy lifestyle habits. I teach them how their body processes foods. I teach them about hormones, which doctors know a lot of this, but to be honest, there's a lot of nutrition that doctors do not know about because they have like one course in medical school about nutrition. And I know this because I've talked to a lot of doctors in my life when I worked for a health coaching school. And so I'm all about that. But if there's a chronic disease that they're managing and medication could be necessary, and the doctor says, okay, well, there's this issue, they're pre-diabetic, they're overweight, it's probably not a good idea for their heart to really push them and their organs because their body's not used to it. That's where, I know that as a trainer, but that's where the collaboration comes in, working with people's physicians, okay? So that was a big thing that I was not a fan of. And then the other thing was the show wasn't really about sustainable habits. Most of the contestants basically gained all the weight back after they left the ranch and after they were done with the show. And to me, if my clients I want my clients to come into my program and go through the process of creating sustainable habits. By the end of our time together, we talk about what's next and how they're going to sustain it. Okay, we create a solid action plan for them to follow. And by the time they leave my program, they know how to make tweaks. Okay. And they also have the opportunity to reach out for more help down the road because let's be real, life happens. We all get derailed at times, and sometimes you need that extra little oomph. It just felt like there was more of like a boot camp style motivation, which for a lot of people is not very motivating. To be honest. So that was another challenge I had with it. And also the focus really kind of shifted from being healthy to winning. I truly believe that most, if not all of the contestants went on The Biggest Loser because they wanted to be healthier and they wanted to make better choices. They wanted to lose weight. They wanted all their organs to be healthy. They wanted to improve their health. They genuinely wanted to do that. And then you get you get on the show and there's the money and the winning and the challenges. Oh my gosh, I get to vote someone off, so I'm guaranteed to stay on. That kind of gets into people's heads and it kind of takes over. So then it just is about winning and not about health, which is the entire purpose behind the show. So, all right, so that's a list of my main pet peeves. I know it's a long list. So let's talk about some positives about the show. Okay, so contestants did lose weight. You saw that every week. If you watch the show, most contestants gained or lost weight every week. Some gained it, some stayed the same, but that's also part of the weight loss process. Your body knows exactly what to do to lose weight at a healthy rate. Your body knows exactly what to do to lose weight at a healthy rate, okay? So, and that's okay. And that was actually I'm going to kind of go off on a tangent a little bit here with another negative that I just thought of is that was also a negative of the show is if people didn't lose weight or they gained a little weight, then it was like, oh my God, and it's so dramatic and it was so disappointing. And that's reality though. So maybe this is kind of a positive, but the show kind of poo-pooed it. Like, oh, you didn't lose weight or you gained weight. But here's the thing. I've talked about this a lot. I've written about it. I talk about it with my clients. Muscle is denser than fat. So if you're working out a lot and you're actually gaining muscle, the number on the scale may not move, or it could go up. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, some of the contestants did lose weight, and there are some contestants who have kept it off, but a majority of them have gained it all back. So one thing I also noticed was there was some positive encouragement from the trainers, because oftentimes, when people come to me for help losing weight, they're insecure, they don't have a lot of confidence in themselves and their ability to do this. They've tried and failed so many times, and they're in a very vulnerable spot. And that's how these contestants were. They didn't believe in themselves, but there were pep talks throughout episodes that were like, yes, you can do this. You got this. I believe in you. You have it in you to push your comfort zone. So that was one of the positive things that I got from the trainers. And yeah. So I can go on and on and on about the show, and I'll probably do some more episodes about The Biggest Loser. But that was basically my overall opinion and my personal and professional view of the show. So I'm super curious, have you watched The Biggest Loser docuseries Fit for TV on Netflix? If you have, comment below, let me know your thoughts. I'm always happy to, I love hearing from you. I love hearing your feedback. And yeah, all right. Thanks.